Answer is 1.
Can I get my binder?
Answer on this one should be 3. Answer is 58. Lottery time. You can buy a ticket for 5 million. The limit is 2 tickets per class. Redeem at the end of class only. You must have your ticket scanned by your own phone or somebody else's phone. I cannot scan everybody's ticket to see if you won or lost in the whole class. You can win 10 million, 20 million, or 50 million. Homework answers. I need to see 1, 2, and 3 first. Answer to number 1 should be 2,604. Number 2 is 12. Number 3 is 25. Number 4 is 50. Number 5 is negative 43. 6 is 1,590,121. Number 7 is 27. Number 8 is 40. Number 9 is 282. Oh, well, number 10 is free because it was a typo, so I'll give that to you. Any questions about the homework? All right, a phone alert. If you have a code reader, then have it ready in the next couple of slides. Paper passing, I have a few to hand out. 6th period, if you need help on what we had for homework last week or anything else, come on in there. Objectives for today. To use trigonometric functions to solve for sides and angles of a triangle. And we'll start with a basic review. Alright, here's the first extra credit for the day if anybody wants to scan this real quick. Okay, example number 1. Labeling sides of a triangle: opposite, hypotenuse, or adjacent. Here's a walk-by. What do you think this one would be? The solution on this would be opposite because it is directly opposite of the angle that is marked there. The angle that has this marking is the reference angle, and then whatever I circle is what you have to label. Since it's straight across from it, that is the opposite. Another one, walk by with this one. If this is the angle we're using, what would this be? In any triangle, any right triangle, the side straight across from the right angle will always be the hypotenuse, regardless of which angle you are using here. If it's straight across from the right angle, it is the hypotenuse. Here's another one to come through with. If we're using this angle, then what side is this? That should be the adjacent side. If you're using an angle such as this, if the side touches the angle, like this one does, it creates the angle that's going to be adjacent, unless you're talking about hypotenuse. Here's another one. What side is this if we're using this angle? Here's another one to come through with. If I'm using this angle, what is this? Anytime the angle is straight across from the 90-degree angle, it will be the hypotenuse. Here's another one. If I'm using this angle, then what is this one? Anytime the side is straight across from the right angle, it's going to be hypotenuse. Example number 2. Sine, cosine, or tangent. You can come through with this, and I'll do the first one for you. If I have this angle marked, then this is the opposite, this is the adjacent, and you have to figure out which function has opposite and adjacent in it. Here are all of the functions, so you can list them out. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, such as this one, so the answer would be tangent for this one. You're using opposite and adjacent. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. If that were the case, it would be C and B with that angle. And sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And in this triangle, that would be A over B. Again, tangent is opposite over adjacent, and that's the one that's illustrated in this problem. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and sine is opposite over hypotenuse. You will list your answers as tangent, sine, or cosine, abbreviated. Come by with this. What function, sine, cosine, or tangent, is being illustrated in this problem? On this one, if you're using this side is adjacent, and this one is hypotenuse, and the function that has adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine. Try this one. On this one, it should be opposite and hypotenuse, so that should be sine. Try this one. And this one is opposite of this angle. This one is adjacent, therefore it should be tangent. Bring this one up. This one is adjacent and hypotenuse, so it should be cosine. Try another one. This is the angle, so this side is opposite. This one will always be hypotenuse, so the function is sine. Practice problem number 1. Bring it up and drop it off. What side is being listed? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? The side listed here is opposite. Bonus number 1. What side is being listed? And that should be hypotenuse that is listed. Here's another phone alert. It'll be ready in just a few slides. Practice problem number 2. What side is being listed there? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? This should be adjacent. Bonus number 2. Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? The answer should be adjacent. Practice problem 2A. Which function is being displayed? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Drop it off up here on the table. For the practice problem, this is opposite and adjacent, so it should be tangent. Bonus problem 2A. What function is being displayed? This is adjacent, this is hypotenuse, so that should be cosine. Practice problem 2B. What is the function that's being displayed here? On the practice problem, this is adjacent, this is hypotenuse, it should be cosine. Bonus problem 2B. What function is being displayed? On this problem, you're using this angle, and this should be opposite. This is sine. Therefore it should be, or not sine, but hypotenuse. This should be the sine function. Here is extra credit number 2, and I'll go ahead and put integrated math on this, 1023. So you can get it off Facebook if you can zap it easier there. Example number 3. The Pythagorean theorem. You'll have to know this for solving sides in a right triangle for what's coming up. Pythagorean theorem. If I'm given two sides of a right triangle, I can use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All the problems I'm going to give you in the first set are missing the hypotenuse. We'll practice those first. What you would do is 3 squared plus 4 squared, and you can set it to any variable squared. We'll just make it x squared. So this would be 9 plus 16 equals x squared. 9 plus 16 is 25. To find out what x is, you must do the square root to both sides. So you're left with the square root of 25 equals x. So the square root of 25 is 5. That means the answer to the missing side is 5. Walk by with this one. You know 6 and 8, but you're missing the hypotenuse. Square both sides, add them together, find the square root. Answer on this one should be 10. Remember, 6 squared is 36, 8 squared is 64. If you add those together, it's 100. But you need the square root of 100, which is 10. Try this one. You're missing the hypotenuse. Square both sides that you know, add them together, find the square root of that sum. If you square 5, you get 25. Square 12, you get 144. The sum is 169, but the square root of 169 is 13. Try this one. If you square 9, you get 81. Square 12, you get 144. Those add up to 225. And the square root of 225 is 15. Try, or not try, but this is an example, number 4. You know the hypotenuse, but you're missing one of the legs. You know a hypotenuse, which is this. You're missing a leg. It's still the same formula, but the shortcut I'll show you is this. If you know the hypotenuse, square that. Oh, I forgot I can't go back on that. Square that and subtract from that the square of the side you know. And that will be equal to x squared. So this would be 289 minus 64. That would be 225. And find the square root of both sides to get an answer of x equals 15. Try this one. Square the 20, and that gives you 400. Subtract the square of 12, which is 144, and that'll be equal to x squared. What's left over here is 256 equals x squared, and find the square root of both sides to get 16.
So
and I'll put this one as 1023 integrated math. Fill out the exit slips before you leave. Homework for tonight.